What if I told you that the single greatest untapped resource for managing your blood sugar isn't locked away in a high-tech pharmaceutical lab, but is likely sitting in your kitchen pantry right now? It's a startling thought, isn't it? For decades, we've been conditioned to believe that a type 2 diabetes diagnosis, especially in our golden years, is an irreversible sentence to a life of bland, joyless food, constant finger pricks, and an ever-increasing reliance on prescription medications. We've been told that flavor is the enemy, and that our spice rack is little more than a colorful decoration. As a geriatrician who has spent over 30 years helping seniors navigate the complexities of their health, I am here to tell you that this is one of the most pervasive and damaging myths in modern medicine. My name is Dr. Robert Anderson, and throughout my career, I've had the privilege of working with thousands of incredible individuals over the age of 60. I've seen the frustration in their eyes as they stare at a plate of steamed, unseasoned chicken and broccoli, feeling more like a patient than a person enjoying a meal. The prevailing approach to diabetic management has often focused exclusively on what to remove from your diet: sugar, carbohydrates, fat, and sadly, a lot of the joy. This approach, while well-intentioned, is incomplete. It overlooks a powerful, ancient truth. Nature has provided us with a treasure trove of compounds in herbs and spices that can work with our bodies and our medications to create a more harmonious, effective, and, frankly, more delicious path to wellness. Today, we're not just going to talk about managing diabetes, we're going to talk about thriving with it. We are going to reclaim the kitchen, not as a place of restriction, but as a laboratory of vibrant health. We will explore 7 specific science-backed herbs and spices that can become powerful allies in your journey. This isn't about abandoning your doctor's advice or throwing away your metformin. It's about adding powerful, natural tools to your existing health plan. It's about synergy. We will delve into not just what these spices are, but precisely how to incorporate them into your daily life, from your morning coffee in Phoenix, Arizona, to your evening tea in Burlington, Vermont. Prepare to transform your spice rack from a dusty relic into your new frontline defense for blood sugar control. The conventional approach to diabetes management for seniors has been a rigid, one-size-fits-all formula. Monitor your blood glucose, take your prescribed medication like metformin or insulin, and adhere to a strict diet plan often created by someone who doesn't have to eat it. While these pillars are undeniably crucial, they represent an incomplete picture. This is the old way. And it's not enough because it often fails to address the underlying metabolic dysfunctions and chronic inflammation that are hallmarks of type 2 diabetes. It also breeds a sense of passive compliance rather than active empowerment. We've become so focused on the numbers on our glucometer that we've forgotten to nourish the body as a whole system. This is where we begin our journey, by adding a layer of potent, natural support that the old model overlooked. Our first stop is perhaps the most familiar and beloved spice of all: cinnamon. The importance of moving beyond this limited model cannot be overstated. When we only focus on medication, we are essentially just managing the symptoms without always bolstering the body's own inherent ability to heal and regulate itself. Cinnamon, specifically, is a game changer because its bioactive compounds can significantly improve how our body uses insulin. One of the primary issues in type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. Your cells have become numb to insulin signal to absorb glucose from the blood. Certain compounds in cinnamon, most notably cinnamaldehyde, have been shown in numerous studies to mimic insulin and increase glucose uptake by your cells. Think of it like this. If your cell doors are locked and insulin has a weak key, cinnamon provides a master key that helps open those doors, allowing sugar to get out of your bloodstream and into your cells where it can be used for energy. This improves insulin sensitivity, which is the absolute cornerstone of effective, long-term diabetes management. It's not just about managing blood sugar, it's about restoring metabolic function. So, how do we turn this knowledge into concrete action? It's surprisingly simple. The goal is to incorporate about 1 to 2 teaspoons of cinnamon per day. However, a crucial distinction must be made. There are 2 main types you'll find at the grocery store, like a Kroger or a Safeway: cassia and Ceylon. Cassia is the common, darker variety and is perfectly fine in small amounts. However, it contains a compound called coumarin, which can be harmful to the liver in high doses. For daily use, I strongly recommend seeking out Ceylon cinnamon, often called true cinnamon. It's lighter in color and has a more delicate flavor, with negligible levels of coumarin, making it much safer for regular consumption. You can easily find it online or in health food stores. Now, for the fun part. Start your morning by stirring half a teaspoon into your coffee or black tea. Sprinkle it generously over your morning oatmeal or Greek yogurt. For a savory twist, add a teaspoon to a pot of chili or a beef stew. It adds a wonderful warmth and depth of flavor you wouldn't expect. I had a patient, Frank, a 72-year-old retired firefighter from Chicago, Illinois, who loved his apple slices as a snack. His blood sugar would invariably spike afterward. We introduced a simple habit. He now sprinkles a healthy dose of Ceylon cinnamon on his apple slices. This small change not only satisfied his sweet tooth, but also helped blunt the post-snack glucose spike, giving him more stable energy throughout the afternoon. If you found this first tip on cinnamon helpful and practical, please let me know by typing a 1 in the comments. If you feel it wasn't useful, please type a 0 so I can improve in the future. Now, let's address another giant we must face. The traditional diabetic diet often does little to combat the silent fire raging within the bodies of many seniors: chronic inflammation. This low-grade, persistent inflammation is a key driver of insulin resistance and is linked to nearly every chronic disease of aging, from heart disease to arthritis. Simply cutting carbs and sugar doesn't extinguish this fire. We need to actively introduce powerful anti-inflammatory agents into our diet. The old way of thinking didn't prioritize this, leaving a significant therapeutic gap. This is where our second golden-hued hero comes into play: turmeric. The profound importance of turmeric lies almost entirely in its active compound, curcumin. Curcumin is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories ever discovered. Its mechanism is so potent that it has been shown in studies to target multiple steps in the inflammatory pathway at the molecular level. For a person with diabetes, this is incredibly significant. By reducing systemic inflammation, curcumin can directly improve insulin sensitivity. It helps to quell the inflammatory signals that interfere with proper insulin function. Furthermore, research suggests curcumin can lower fasting blood glucose levels and even improve the function of the beta cells in the pancreas, the very cells responsible for producing insulin. Think of chronic inflammation as constant, irritating static on a radio channel between your insulin and your cells. Curcumin works to clear that static, allowing the message to be heard loud and clear. This makes it not just a spice, but a potent therapeutic agent that supports your metabolic health from a foundational level. Putting turmeric to work in your daily life is both easy and enjoyable. The effective dosage of curcumin used in studies is often high, around 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day, which can be difficult to achieve through diet alone. However, every little bit helps, and consistent dietary intake is a fantastic start. The most critical thing to know about turmeric is that curcumin is not well absorbed by the body on its own. It needs a partner, piperine, the active compound in black pepper. Piperine can increase the bioavailability of curcumin by a staggering 2,000%. So, the golden rule is, wherever turmeric goes, black pepper must follow. A simple action is to make a golden paste. Mix turmeric powder with a little bit of coconut oil, curcumin is fat-soluble, and a generous amount of freshly ground black pepper. You can keep this in a jar in your fridge and add a spoonful to soups, stews, or scrambled eggs. Another popular and comforting option is golden milk, BO. Gently heat a cup of unsweetened almond or coconut milk, whisk in a teaspoon of your golden paste, and perhaps a sprinkle of our friend cinnamon. It's a wonderful, warming beverage to have before bed. I once had a patient, a lovely 68-year-old grandmother named Maria from Scottsdale, Arizona, who suffered terribly from both diabetic neuropathy and arthritis in her hands. We worked on incorporating a daily turmeric and black pepper regimen into her diet. Over several months, she reported not only more stable blood sugar readings, but also a noticeable reduction in her joint pain, allowing her to knit again for her grandchildren. Was this information on turmeric and its anti-inflammatory power useful for you? Let me know with each 1 for yes or a 0 for no. Your feedback is immensely valuable. Let's move on to another common challenge the old dietary models fail to fully appreciate: the complexity of digestion and its impact on blood sugar. The standard advice is often to just eat fewer carbs, but it doesn't adequately address the rate at which those carbs are absorbed. A sudden flood of glucose into the bloodstream after a meal places immense stress on your pancreas and your entire metabolic system. The old way lacks nuance. It doesn't fully utilize natural tools that can help slow this process down, creating a gentler, more manageable glucose curve. This is where a humble root, known for its zesty kick, becomes a superstar: ginger. Ginger's importance in a senior's diabetic care plan is multifaceted. Its most celebrated benefit in this context is its ability to influence glycemic control over the long term. Several high-quality studies and meta-analyses have shown that regular ginger consumption can lead to a significant reduction in fasting blood sugar levels, and perhaps more importantly, in hemoglobin A1C, HbA1c. Your HbA1c is a critical blood test that gives you a picture of your average blood sugar control over the past 3 months. Lowering your HbA1c is a primary goal in diabetes management, as it directly correlates with a reduced risk of long-term complications like nerve damage, kidney disease, and vision problems. While the exact mechanisms are still being studied, it's believed that gingerols, the main bioactive compounds in ginger, may inhibit certain enzymes that are involved in carbohydrate metabolism and increase glucose uptake into muscle tissue. In essence, ginger helps your body process sugar more efficiently and smoothly, preventing those sharp, damaging spikes after a meal. Integrating ginger into your routine is a delightful sensory experience. You can use fresh ginger root, dried powder, or even supplements, but I always believe fresh is best when possible. An incredibly simple and effective method is to make fresh ginger tea. Simply slice a few thin pieces of a 1-inch knob of fresh ginger root, no need to peel if it's organic. Place them in a mug and pour boiling water over them. Let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes. You can add a squeeze of lemon for brightness. This is a perfect caffeine-free beverage to enjoy anytime, especially after a meal. In cooking, fresh grated ginger is a cornerstone of Asian and Indian cuisine. Add a tablespoon to your stir-fries, your soups, or marinades for fish and chicken. A great tip is to buy a large hand of ginger, peel it, and store it in the freezer in a zip-top bag. It will last for months, and, fascinatingly, it's much easier to grate when frozen. A patient of mine, 78-year-old David from New Orleans, Louisiana, was a lover of rich, flavorful food and struggled with his post-dinner blood sugar readings. We worked on incorporating fresh ginger and garlic into his cooking to replace some of the salt and fat. He started making a simple ginger-garlic paste to use as a base for his sauces and found that he didn't miss the extra salt, and his evening glucose levels became far more predictable and stable. Did you find this deep dive into ginger and its effect on HbA1c to be a helpful piece of information? Please type 1 if yes and 0 if no. I appreciate you helping me tailor this content. Our fourth herb addresses a fundamental mechanical issue in diabetes management that is often overlooked: the speed of digestion. The old model, as we've discussed, focuses on what you eat, but not always how your body processes it. For many seniors, especially those who consume processed carbohydrates, food breaks down too quickly, releasing a rapid surge of sugar. Medications can help manage this surge, but they don't address the initial speed of absorption from the gut. What if we could naturally slow down this process, creating a time-release effect for the carbohydrates we eat? This is precisely the role of our fourth powerhouse, a small, unassuming seed with a unique aroma: fenugreek. The importance of fenugreek lies in its remarkably high content of soluble fiber. When you consume fenugreek seeds, this fiber forms a gel-like substance in your intestines. This gel does something truly remarkable. It slows down the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates and sugar. It creates a physical barrier, preventing that quick dump of glucose into your bloodstream. This results in a much lower and gentler post-meal blood sugar spike. This effect is so pronounced that some studies have shown it can lower fasting blood glucose, improve glucose tolerance, and lower HbA1c. Beyond its fiber content, compounds within fenugreek also appear to enhance insulin sensitivity and stimulate insulin secretion from the pancreas. It's a dual-action approach. It manages the glucose you consume while also helping your body's own systems handle it more effectively. For a senior looking for a non-pharmaceutical way to smooth out their glucose curve, fenugreek is an incredibly valuable tool. Now, a word of caution. Fenugreek is potent, both in its effects and its flavor. It has a distinct, slightly bitter taste and a smell reminiscent of maple syrup. The most effective way to use it is by taking 1 to 2 teaspoons of the seeds and soaking them in a glass of water overnight. In the morning, you can drink the water and chew the softened seeds. This is the most traditional and, for many, the most effective method. If you find the taste too strong, you can add fenugreek powder to curries, soups, or even knead it into dough if you bake your own bread. A good starting point is half a teaspoon of powder a day, gradually increasing to see how your body tolerates it. Because of its powerful effect on blood sugar, it is absolutely essential to monitor your levels closely when you start taking it, as it can potentially enhance the effect of your diabetes medications and lead to hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. I worked with a 65-year-old retired teacher from Austin, Texas, named Brenda, who was very sensitive to carbohydrates. Even a small portion of brown rice would send her sugar levels soaring. After consulting with her endocrinologist, she started the soaked fenugreek seed regimen. She found it dramatically reduced her post-meal spikes, giving her the metabolic breathing room to enjoy a more varied and less restrictive diet. I'd love to know if this explanation of fenugreek and its fiber content was a new and helpful concept for you. A ponía 1 for yes, a 0 for no. Thank you for your continued feedback. As we venture deeper, we encounter a compound so powerful that its effects in clinical research have been compared to first-line diabetes medication. This brings us to a critical limitation of the old way of thinking, the artificial wall between natural medicine and pharmaceuticals. The reality is that many of our most effective drugs, from aspirin, from willow bark, to metformin, originally derived from the French lilac plant, have their roots in nature. The old model sometimes dismisses plant-based compounds as being too weak or unreliable, but this ignores the potent, targeted action of certain botanical extracts. We're now going to talk about one such extract, a bioactive compound that represents the pinnacle of plant-based metabolic support, berberine. Berberine isn't a single plant, but rather a compound extracted from the roots and bark of several plants, including golden seal, Oregon grape, and barberry. Its importance is tied to its profound impact on a fundamental regulator of our metabolism, an enzyme called AMP-activated protein kinase, or AMPK. You can think of AMPK as your body's metabolic master switch. When you exercise, AMPK is activated, telling your body to burn fuel. Berberine has been shown to activate this same AMPK pathway. When AMPK is activated, it triggers a cascade of benefits. It helps shuttle glucose from the blood into your cells. It stimulates fat burning, and it reduces the liver's production of glucose. The effect is so significant that in some head-to-head studies, berberine has demonstrated an ability to lower blood sugar and HbA1c on a level comparable to metformin. This is not to say it is a replacement for your prescribed medication, but it highlights the incredible power that can be found in a well-researched botanical compound. It is a prime example of how we can use nature's intelligence to support our body's own systems. Given its potency, berberine is almost always taken as a supplement, not as a culinary spice. You'll find it in capsules at health food stores or online. A typical dosage protocol is 500 milliliters taken 2 or 3 times a day, always with a meal. Taking it with food is crucial to prevent potential gastrointestinal side effects like cramping or constipation, and to help manage the blood sugar from that meal. This is not something to start on a whim. Because of its powerful glucose-lowering effects, it is absolutely imperative that you speak with your doctor before starting berberine. They need to be aware of it so they can monitor your blood sugar levels and adjust your other medications if necessary to prevent an episode of dangerous hypoglycemia. I had a patient, a 69-year-old retired engineer from San Jose, California, who was very data-driven. He had read the research on berberine and brought the studies to his appointment. We discussed it with his endocrinologist, and they agreed on a trial. He started with a low dose, monitored his glucose meticulously, and over 6 months, he and his doctor were able to slightly reduce his insulin dosage, while his HbA1c showed marked improvement. His story is a testament to proactive, informed patient care. Was this information about the powerful compound berberine and the AMPK pathway insightful for you? Please let me know with a 1 for yes or a 0 for no. Next, we need to address the toll that stress and fatigue can take on blood sugar control. The traditional management plan often operates in a vacuum, ignoring how the rest of the body's systems impact glucose metabolism. When you're under chronic stress, your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol can raise blood sugar levels by stimulating the liver to release glucose. The old model provides no tools to manage this hormonal aspect. For seniors who may be dealing with the stresses of retirement, health issues, or loss, this is a significant oversight. We need to incorporate substances that help the body adapt to stress and build resilience. This brings us to a revered root from the world of traditional medicine, American ginseng. The importance of American ginseng, Panax quinquefolius, in a diabetic protocol is linked to its classification as an adaptogen. Adaptogens are natural substances that help the body resist stressors of all kinds, whether physical, chemical, or biological. In the context of diabetes, American ginseng has shown a remarkable ability to help control postprandial after-meal blood glucose levels. Studies indicate that taking it before or with a meal can significantly lower the blood sugar spike that follows. It's thought to work by enhancing insulin secretion from the pancreas and increasing the number of insulin receptors on cells, making them more sensitive. Unlike some other stimulants, American ginseng is considered a cooling and calming tonic in traditional Chinese medicine, making it particularly suitable for long-term use without causing jitteriness. By helping to modulate both the stress response and the glucose response, it offers a more holistic approach to metabolic balance. Incorporating American ginseng is straightforward, as it's typically consumed as a tea or a supplement. You can buy dried ginseng root slices from Asian markets or health food stores. To make a tea, simply steep a few slices in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes. The flavor is earthy and slightly bittersweet. For a more standardized dose, supplements are a reliable option. A common dosage is 1 to 3 grams, taken up to 2 hours before a meal. As with all potent herbs, caution is key. Ginseng can interact with medications, especially blood thinners like warfarin, and can also affect blood pressure. A conversation with your doctor is a non-negotiable first step before adding ginseng to your regimen. I remember a patient, a 75-year-old widow, from a small town outside of Denver, Colorado, who was struggling with both her blood sugar and feelings of being overwhelmed after her husband passed. We discussed American ginseng with her doctor as a potential support. She started drinking a cup of the tea before her lunch each day. She reported feeling a subtle sense of calm and resilience, and we noticed her post-lunch glucose readings, which had been her most volatile, became noticeably more stable. Did this information on American ginseng and its role as an adaptogen provide a new perspective for you? Please type a awesome 1 in the comments if it was helpful, and a 0 if it was not. Finally, we must address the most dangerous complication of diabetes, one that the old models acknowledge but could do more to prevent proactively: cardiovascular disease. People with diabetes are twice as likely to have heart disease or a stroke than people without diabetes, and at a younger age. The traditional advice focuses on controlling blood sugar and cholesterol with medication, which is vital. However, it often misses the opportunity to use our food to actively support vascular health, improve circulation, and lower blood pressure. Our seventh and final item, technically a vegetable but used universally as a spice, is a titan in the world of heart health: garlic. The importance of garlic extends far beyond just managing blood sugar, though it does help with that too. Its primary benefit for a senior with diabetes lies in its profound cardiovascular effects. Garlic is rich in a sulfur compound called allicin, which is responsible for its pungent aroma and most of its health benefits. Allicin and other compounds in garlic have been shown to have a modest but significant effect on lowering blood pressure, reducing total and LDL, bad cholesterol, and preventing the formation of plaque in the arteries, atherosclerosis. It also has a mild blood-thinning effect, which helps to prevent clots. By improving these key markers of heart health, garlic directly tackles the #1 risk for diabetics. It's a holistic approach, recognizing that you can't treat the blood sugar in isolation from the blood vessels it flows through. A healthy cardiovascular system is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients throughout the body and mitigating the long-term damage that high blood sugar can cause. To get the maximum benefit from garlic, fresh is unequivocally best. The potent compound allicin is only formed when a garlic clove is crushed, chopped, or chewed. A fascinating tip is to let the crushed garlic sit for 10 to 15 minutes before you cook it. This allows the enzyme alliinase to fully convert alliin into the maximum amount of beneficial allicin. Heat can deactivate this enzyme, so letting it rest first is key. Aim to incorporate 1 to 2 cloves of fresh garlic into your diet daily. Mince it into salad dressings, add it to sauces, stir-fries, and soups. One of my favorite heart-healthy tricks is to make roasted garlic. Cut the top off a whole head of garlic, drizzle with a little olive oil, wrap it in foil, and bake at 400 grados Celsius, about 240, for 30 to 40 minutes until it's soft and caramelized. The cloves will become sweet and creamy. You can squeeze them out and spread them on whole grain toast instead of butter. This simple, delicious habit provides immense cardiovascular support. Again, because of its blood-thinning properties, if you are on a medication like warfarin or are scheduled for surgery, you must discuss increasing your garlic intake with your physician. Was this final section on garlic and its crucial role in protecting heart health a useful addition to your knowledge? Please let me know one last time with a 1 for yes or a 0 for no. As we come to the end of our journey together today, let's pause and reflect on what we've uncovered. We began by challenging the old, restrictive narrative of diabetes management and opened the door to a world of flavor, empowerment, and natural synergy. We've explored the blood sugar stabilizing warmth of cinnamon, the potent anti-inflammatory fire of turmeric, and the long-term balancing act of ginger. We've seen how the soluble fiber in fenugreek can smooth out glucose spikes, how the powerful compound berberine can act on a cellular level, how American ginseng helps our bodies adapt to stress, and how humble garlic stands as a fierce guardian of our heart. These 7 herbs and spices are not magic bullets, but they are powerful, scientifically backed tools that can transform your health journey from one of passive compliance to one of active, joyful participation. The most profound lesson here extends far beyond blood sugar numbers. It's a lesson about life itself, especially in our cherished later years. It's the realization that true health is not about what we restrict and remove, but about what we purposefully and joyfully add. We've spent too many years being told, no, no sugar, no salt, no fat, no fun. Today is about saying yes. Yes to flavor. Yes to nourishment. Yes to reclaiming the wisdom of nature that has been with us for millennia. It's about taking back control and realizing that you are the most important member of your healthcare team. You have the power every single day in your own kitchen to make choices that honor your body and enrich your life. This is not about fighting a disease. It's about cultivating a landscape of vibrant wellness, one delicious meal at a time. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. Your health is your greatest asset, and your commitment to learning is the best investment you can make. Now, I have a call to action for you. What was your biggest takeaway from our discussion today? Which of these 7 herbs are you most excited to try first? Please leave a comment below. Your stories and experiences build a community of support that benefits everyone. If this article brought you value, I ask you to do 3 simple things. First, share it with a friend, a family member, or a neighbor who might also be navigating this journey. Knowledge, when shared, has the power to change lives. Second, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content designed to help you thrive in your golden years. And finally, keep learning, stay curious, and never forget the incredible power you hold in your own hands and in your own kitchen. Be well.